Today we're going to start a new module and learn how to advise stakeholders on CPSD or supplier diversity initiatives. So consult with and advise stakeholders on developing and integrating supplier diversity initiatives into business practices and identifying new opportunities for diverse suppliers. Supplier diversity history and overview. So diversity initiatives began as the U.S. government directed initiative in the 1960s. A lot of this was due to the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and a few other legislative milestones in the 1960s. These same initiatives have now become critical global business strategies, depending on the industry. Leading organizations have shifted away from the bid-by-bid approach and have integrated supplier diversity into the entire supply chain process. And you see it most prevalent in consumer products industries or consumer services industries. The C-suite. Best practices show that the more the supplier diversity initiatives are treated like other business strategies, the more credibility it tends to receive throughout the company. And the C-suite, which is CEO, CFO, CPO, etc., contributes to overall support of the supplier diversity strategy. So business strategies such as supplier diversity are ongoing. Measurements of success, milestones, and reporting are essential. Know if you're making any progress. And these measurements should be communicated throughout the organization. So your stakeholders want to know how your initiatives are doing. Supplier diversity reports to different business unit heads at different companies. So the advent of the chief diversity and inclusion officers have prompted a shift in some companies to this human resource-based reporting structure. This new type of reporting requires effective communication and collaboration between HR and supplier diversity professionals who are usually in supply management. Business practices, process, and objectives. So operational strategies allow sufficient time for sourcing, helps ensure that both the best supplier and the best price are secured for a product or service. It takes time to send out RFPs and receive the responses. Production's timing requirements are also one of the factors that helps determine the sourcing strategy. So global sourcing may be too cumbersome for quick completion. Diverse suppliers should be considered and may provide the best option. They're usually smaller companies and they're much more nimble and can quickly serve their customer needs. Financial strategies. International financial strategies can dictate sourcing strategies. So an organization may need to capture savings quickly to meet short-term financial targets. And based on financial targets, the speed of savings capture may be more important than maximizing the amount of savings achieved. So you go with the cheapest source. Marketing strategies, sales forecasts, and other marketing activities help supply management determine what categories are relevant for sourcing. And a category that is forecasted to grow significantly may be a target for sourcing. More capacity via a larger supply base may also be needed. If a category is forecasted to shrink, then the sourcing strategy will be to reduce the number of suppliers or even outsource it. Supply strategies. Build consensus within the organization on where supply management could add value. Every class of product or service an organization purchases should have a defined supply strategy. I don't tend to agree to that with the literally, but your large spend categories anyway. A strategy is a long-term 3 to 5 year action plan that defines what needs to be done to attain a stated goal. And supply strategies must support the business unit, corporate goals, and organizational strategies. Some of the components that make up a supply strategy are things like definition of the category, category span, buying policy, sourcing policy, which is like the number of sources that the RFP has to go to. Supplier relationships, what is the industry competition like in the supply marketplace, contractual obligations, and role and location of inventory. Technology strategy. The technology strategy defines how information technology should be used as part of the organization's overall business strategy. And several sourcing strategies, such as a diverse supplier program, are best implemented when technology support is available. You have to know who your diverse suppliers are. Technology is critical in identify spend with diverse suppliers. Identifying spend. And strategic relationship management. Do not use a punitive approach when working with diverse suppliers. Will result in short-term gain only. And the primary goal should be to facilitate long-term improvement through the development of strategic relationships. Ideally, that is how we want to do it. New and emerging markets, supplier diversity in countries outside the U.S. may have a completely different meaning, although Europe is probably very similar to us. In the U.S., supplier diversity initiatives stem from the heritage of the country's civil rights movement and the perceptions that exist for how diversity is defined from country to country and the historical perspectives that have driven beliefs, behaviors, customs, and cultures. Supplier diversity definitions may be developed, communicated, and included as important metrics, and provide education to global procurement organizations on international diverse suppliers. And you can partner with overseas outreach organizations. Does the crossed out mean that they're no longer around? Yep. So I guess the only one left is this one. Again, I believe that's not around, but women's, yeah, I guess not. Market analysis, the nature of a market. Sellers market, demand is greater than supply. And you've got a buyer's market, which is the opposite. Supply exceeds demand. And then you have a balanced market. Historically, supply management has provided opportunities on bids for diverse-owned businesses. This has proven to cause missed opportunities. Not all spend is placed on a bid through an RFX event, and projects that are not always planned. Occasionally, a solution would be unwound and another solution put in place on short notice. Not all spend goes through supply management. Having a basic understanding of all areas the company spends money on can provide opportunities for diverse owned businesses that are a good fit for the company. International organizations. There's 3 organizations that provide extensive statistical data. The United Nations, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, otherwise known as the OECD, and the International Monetary Fund. Uncomtrade is a report on global commodity trade statistics for more than 150 countries. It's available there. So this is just economic data, mostly what they're talking about. Employee rewards and recognition. So reward initiatives for the organization to recognize and honor employees for increasing business opportunities for diverse suppliers. The initiative should be open to every employee. And rewards and recognition honor the organization's individuals and teams that reach established goals and objectives for supplier diversity. It's important to keep enthusiasm and innovation flowing. Nothing motivates people like money. Team rewards present an excellent opportunity to facilitate bonding and foster cross-organizational cooperation. And an effective recognition program ties awards directly to results, rewards employees in a timely manner, and uses a variety of options for recognition. So money's good, but there's other things you can give too. Waiting a year or more for the recognition event makes for a weak link between the rewarded work and the reward. And this diminishes the value of the supplier diversity program. But I mean, sometimes once a year is all you can manage, so you just have to wait and see. Which of the following will negatively influence the value of supplier diversity to internal stakeholders? Developing a strategy to meet organizational business objectives. Nope, you want to do that. Meeting with internal stakeholders to understand their needs. No, you want to do that. Creating a business case for the impact of supplier diversity on the stakeholders' operations. That sounds like a good idea. And driving toward a sole focus on cost savings objectives. So ISM hates it when you just look at cost savings objectives. So that's got to be the answer because you're looking for the negative. And D it is. All right, a diversity specialist convinced commodity management to switch to a diverse supplier for a significant item. The execution of the contract has begun and product starts to arrive on schedule, but within a few weeks, you're starting to hear complaints from production, although quality assurance found no problems with the materials. Which of the following is the most likely reason for the criticism? Training for the new supplier was inadequate. Probably not. Production was not notified or consulted about the change. That would be a bingo, I think. The product failed to meet quality specs. No, it already said it passed the quality specs. Delivery times are not acceptable. That wasn't mentioned at all, so it's got to be B. It is. All right, let's look at some summary here. Technology strategy defines how information technology should be used as part of the organization's business strategy. And a supply strategy is a long-term 3 to 5 year action plan that defines what needs to be done to achieve a stated goal. Sales forecasts and other marketing activities such as product promotions, advertising campaigns, and new product or service introductions help supply management determine what categories are relevant for sourcing. An organization may need to capture savings quickly to meet short-term financial targets. And the financial plan set out how the organization plans to finance its operations to meet its stated objectives. Operation strategy is the tool used to define the methods of producing goods or services offered to the customer. And if expanding supplier diversity initiatives globally ensures suppliers adhere to your goals and initiatives. The nature of a market, seller's market, buyer's market, or balance will affect how purchasing approaches the sourcing event. And if purchasing has a handle on all areas where the organization spends money, they can look for the specific areas where diverse suppliers can be competitive. Implement an employee rewards initiative to increase opportunities for diverse suppliers. All right, there are some questions out there. We are D1. And we got a bunch of questions, 14 of them. So I'll get rolling on them. We'll go over answers in a few minutes here. Okay, let's go get some answers here. D1. Just practice questions. Number 1 is delta. 2 is alpha. And 3 is also alpha. 4 is also alpha. 5 is Bravo. 6 is alpha again. 7 is delta. 8 is Charlie. And 9 is also Charlie. 10 is delta. 11 is Bravo. And 12 is Charlie. Thirteen is Bravo. And 14 is delta. That should be it. I'll cover some more in Module D tomorrow.